October is traditionally here in California considered a heightened time for wildfire risk. How is OES preparing?
We've been preparing all year for wildfire, and actually wildfire season is all year long anymore. We've spent a lot of time working with our partners in law enforcement and fire, making sure that when we need to evacuate people that is done efficiently. We have been working with different ways to alert and warn people about evacuation or other disasters.
And speaking of the Emergency Operations Center, which is where we are right now, it's very quiet, but I see there are a lot of working spaces for a lot of people to be working in the midst of a disaster in the county. What might this center look like?
Yes, during those large-scale disasters, this room and the room next door is full. We get about 120 to 150 people in here. We have people that look at health and fire. We have law enforcement here, people who look at public works and construction. Red Cross has a seat, as well as 211. We also have what we call the Joint Information Center, where we try to formulate those press releases and notices just to make sure we are consistent with our messaging.
What can we do to better prepare and to better help first responders?
It's important for the people of San Diego to prepare for wildfires. Wildfires are a part of San Diego. It will be like that for a long time to come. If I were to put one request out for everybody, it would be to have a plan to evacuate. Evacuation in front of a wildfire is extremely important. Get out early. Don't necessarily wait for someone to tell you to get out. If you feel unsafe, that's the time to get out.
Should we have a duffel bag? What's a good plan?
Yeah, that evacuation plan should include like a kit to bring with you of important papers. You can bring some things that you think are important in your home, as well as food and water. The important thing is to get to a shelter or to get out of the way of the wildfire. The one thing people in San Diego need to know is that if there's a wildfire that is backed by Santa Ana winds, a small hose in the backyard is not going to do anything.
People think of wildfires as only being a problem in areas that people call backcountry. Is that still the case? Is that accurate? Who should be on alert?
Everybody in San Diego has a threat of wildfires. If you're near the coast, you still have canyons, you have riverbeds that are full of fuel that hasn't burned for 50, 60, 70 years. The further east you go, the higher the risk of wildfires. When you get to the inland and mountain areas of San Diego, you start entering the wildland-urban interface where people meet nature, and that's really the front lines of where wildfires can be most devastating.
As the years go on and technology advances, are there technological developments that are making it easier to communicate to people during times of disasters?
Yes, as a matter of fact. One of the newest tools we have is called wireless emergency alerts. If you have a modern cell phone, your cell phone's already opted into these alerts. What we can do here at the Office of Emergency Services is generate a 90-character message to warn people. Whether it's a wildfire or some other disaster, we can warn them to evacuate or perhaps shelter in place. It's important to pay attention to those and to follow the directions that are presented in that little text message.
Mr. Ray, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.